My wife, 29 female, and I, 31 male, have been married for 7 years. A few years ago, she decided to go back to college to get a degree, and I was emotionally and financially supportive. I've been paying her tuition fees out of my pocket because I want her to succeed and follow her dreams. Recently, I discovered she's been having an affair with one of her professors. This was devastating for me to find out. Not only did it feel like a huge betrayal, but I was also furious because I was essentially funding this affair by paying for her education. After confronting her and getting a half-hearted apology, I decided to call the college registrar to inform them that I would no longer be paying her tuition fees while explaining why I mentioned the affair and named the professor involved. Before making the call, I did some digging and realized that the professor's wife works in the registrar's office. They have the same uncommon last name, and I confirmed their relationship via Facebook. Knowing this, I still made the call, understanding that this information would likely get back to her and cause a lot of drama in their lives. My wife is furious with me, saying I've ruined her chances of finishing her degree and that I'm being vindictive. Some friends think that I went too far and shouldn't have involved the college or the professor's wife. Others say she brought this on herself and I had every right to stop paying for her education, given the circumstances. So, am I the idiot for informing the college about my wife's affair with her professor and stopping my financial support for her education, knowing the professor's wife works there? I don't really see any other way forward after this. What's going to make divorce really difficult is that we have a young toddler daughter. OP, you had an affair with one of your professors while I've been funding your education and lifestyle? Her, yeah, sorry. Oops. OP, welp, say goodbye to the rest of your degree. Her, what? You mean you aren't going to continue to pay for me to sleep with my teacher? You've ruined my life. If I were you, I would suggest to her that she take her halfway apology to the registrar's office to see if they'll let her pay with that. She absolutely did bring this upon herself. You just told the truth, not the idiot. Your wife is furious? I'm surprised you still call her a wife. I would call her a bad memory. What your wife is experiencing are called consequences. Most people hate them. Please tell us about the divorce lawyer you've hired to divorce your remorseless, cheating wife. A cheater loses all rights to anger or anything once they cheat. OP needs to divorce his wife and find someone to be happy with. I'd also go ahead and tell everyone she cheated so he can control the narrative. OP, always tell the spouse or partner of the affair partner, as they're a victim too. Anyone supporting your wife is not your friend, so dump them along with your wife. I wish my parents had gotten divorced when I was a toddler. It would have saved me 18 years of misery. Sometimes it's better to have divorced parents. Dude, you need to DNA test the child. It's an awful thing to consider, but you now know that you can't trust your wife, and you have to view your entire relationship, both before and after marriage, from a different perspective. You have no way of knowing what was a lie and what was the truth, so you have to assume the worst about every action or statement that she's ever made. Infidelity is the gift that will keep giving for years to come. Definitely a DNA test, but also, I'm sure your wife isn't the first or only student that professor has slept with, so I'd suggest STI testing too. Is your wife furious you're no longer paying for her education? Honestly, I'd tell her to build a bridge and get over it. She can get a loan, or maybe her professor can get her a family discount. Is she furious you told his wife? In this case, I would no longer engage, as she values his feelings and discomfort over yours. Either way, you would be a stronger person than I am. I wish you all the best. So here's the situation. My sister, 28, recently got engaged to a guy, 30 male. She's been dating for about a year. She's absolutely smitten and couldn't wait to introduce him to the family. For privacy, let's call her fiancé John. A little background. I, 32 female, had a tumultuous relationship with an ex a few years ago. We dated for 2 years before I found out he was cheating on me with multiple women. The breakup was messy and left me with a lot of trust issues. I haven't seen or heard from him since. Fast forward to last weekend, my sister brought John over for a family dinner, and to my absolute shock, John was my cheating ex. He didn't recognize me at first because I changed my appearance since we last saw each other. When I confronted him privately, he admitted to recognizing me, but begged me not to tell my sister, claiming he'd changed and genuinely loved her. I was torn but decided my sister needed to know the truth. I told her everything, showing her old photos and messages as proof. She was devastated, but decided to stay with him, saying that people can change, and she believes he's a better man now. Here's where the current problem lies. My sister and John asked if they could stay with me for a few days while their apartment undergoes some renovations. I flat out refused, explaining I couldn't live under the same roof as the man who caused me so much pain. My sister accused me of being selfish and not allowing John to prove he's changed. She says I'm punishing her for his past mistakes and creating unnecessary drama. Our parents are divided. Mom thinks I should suck it up for my sister's sake, while Dad believes I have every right to set boundaries. The situation has caused a massive rift in our family, and now I'm questioning if I'm being unreasonable. Am I the idiot for refusing to let my sister's fiancé stay in my house after discovering he's my ex who cheated on me? So your dad has your back, but your mom values fake harmony in the family more than she values your mental health. Your sister's blinded by love and will not understand. Your mother should not be blinded. She should have your back the way your dad does. Not the idiot. Let them enjoy Motel 6's hospitality. By the way, someone will tell you to let go of your grudge. When they do, tell them you're not holding a grudge. You're choosing not to allow someone who hurt you back into your life and your home. It's choosing to respect yourself enough not to sacrifice your peace by welcoming someone who treated you with such a disdain into your home. It's understanding that he threw away your trust and respect by cheating, and that doesn't magically disappear just because he's dating your sister. Your sister can make choices where this guy is concerned, but you have the right to make your own choices too. Your sister's feelings aren't more important than yours. You deserve peace in your home. By the way, your mom can host them for your sister's sake. Yeah, why doesn't your mom house them? Renovations don't really create the need to live somewhere. Beggars can't be choosers. They can get a hotel. Your sister's just trying to push your leftovers back on you. You didn't meet for a year plus. You don't need to meet again. And no, you don't have to house your crappy ex. I'm 19 female, living at home, working a part-time job, doing some freelance stuff, and taking some online courses, all in preparation for attending college next year. My sister, 25, had her first child 8 months ago. The father isn't involved and only pays child support. My mom is excited to have her first grandchild. She's constantly offering to look after the baby, so my sister can feel at ease working full-time and afterwards will have some time for herself to relax. The thing is, about 70% of the time, I'll be the one looking after the baby. And while I admit that I enjoy it and I like spending time with him, I can't help but feel mad because they don't have any consideration for my time. Mom would drop the baby while I was in the middle of my lessons because you can always watch the recordings later, or just ask someone to tell you what it was about. Or when I'm working on my freelance stuff, because looking after the baby doesn't require much, when I complain about getting delayed in my projects. My breaking point happened last week when my mother and sister left the baby with me for a whole day because I mistakenly told them that I didn't have to work and would stay home to catch up with some pending stuff and study. I called them both irresponsible, and they called me a spoiled brat. That night, my grandma and other extended family members called and sent me messages about the importance of helping family and to understand that my sister doesn't have it easy being a single mom. I got mad and sent a message to the family group chat saying that they were right, that helping family is important, and that we should all support my sister. I then proceeded to write a schedule where we could all take care of the baby. Because one aunt goes to visit grandma on Monday and Wednesday mornings, they could babysit those days. Eldest cousin and her siblings are at their home Friday afternoon. Well, they can babysit that time, and so on. I left Saturday mornings and Tuesday evenings as my time to babysit. My sister and my mom were very pleased with the arrangement. The other family, not so much. And when someone pointed out that my sister didn't get the baby for a whole day, Discussions about my sister being an irresponsible mother started, with my mother trying to defend her. Am I the idiot for causing this? How come they were expecting me to be my sister's unpaid nanny, but then they got offended when the same thing's forced on them? I may be the idiot because I caused this, and I don't regret it one bit. That was a beautiful way to address that. Everyone always says, but family, until it comes back on them. Not only are you not the idiot, but you're also a master, a freaking Jedi. Not your baby, not your responsibility. You aren't a spoiled brat. Your sister's a spoiled brat. She chose to bring a child into this world, thinking other people would parent him for her. Any babysitting you do is a gift to your sister, not an obligation. You're not the one who had a child with someone who wasn't interested in being a father. You handled this creatively and well. How could you possibly have gone too far? They were the folks who insisted that family needed to step up, so you're just helping them to step up. I think what you did is inspired. This doesn't change the fact that your sister is a complete idiot for having a child she has no interest in actually parenting. And your mom's also an idiot for dumping said baby she promised to help raise on you. Keep practicing boundaries with your mom. Don't let her dump the baby on you when it's her scheduled time. Right? Just keep repeating, but I thought it took a village to raise a child. Time to work in your room, with the door locked if possible. Hang a sign that says, "Working, do not disturb." Also, learn to shut your mouth about days you aren't working. Learning to keep your schedule private from your family members always leaves room for you to escape family obligations by using work as an excuse. So I, 18 female, attend university in England, which is where my half-brother, Jay, 28, lives. Pretty much our mom, 46, is from Canada, and she moved to England to be with his dad. When he was a kid, she went back to Canada to look over our grandma when she had some health issues, and she never went back. She married my dad, and pretty soon after, I was born, and then my younger brother. The thing is, Jay's getting married, and I barely know him. I've met him 4 times, and the whole time he's been cold and stoic to me, like a machine. The emotion I've seen most out of him was when he saw a photo of my family at my place, and he kind of let out a sad chuckle. His fiancée, Sarah, is really nice and sweet and has been super kind to me. But honestly, she's so bubbly and extroverted, and he's a statue. But even beyond how cold he is to me, I don't know his family, and I'm scared to be there like the sister nobody knows. So I told him I was not going, and he told me that if I didn't want his family to know who I was, I could be seated by Sarah's side and pretend I was from there. But I look just like my mom, so there'd be no point, and everyone would know who I am. When I said that, he just said that mom expects me to be there, so if I have an issue with it, I should get her permission not to go. Am I the idiot for telling my half-brother I won't attend his wedding? Edit. The invitation was for our mom. She must have told him to invite me the last time they talked on the phone, because she's not going, and neither is anyone else from our family. Everyone's the idiot here, except Jay. Your mother abandoned him at less than 10 years old, and the way you talk about him is very cold and othering. Is he not part of our family? You haven't said anything about him that makes him seem rude. He's just awkward about the whole situation. Who wouldn't be? You're an idiot for coming on here and laying the blame at Jay's feet for his cold manner, instead of where it rightly belongs, with the adults who made the decisions where siblings only 10 years apart met only 4 times. In OP's eyes, he hasn't thrown her a parade and lived up to her Disney-fied Big Brother expectations. In actuality, he hasn't done anything wrong. In fact, he's overcome what many wouldn't be able to in his position by maintaining contact with a negligent mother and trying to, as best as he can, interact with OP. I feel sorry for Jay. His mother isn't going to his wedding. I wonder how often he sees her since she left him. Yep, his parent abandoned him at such a young age. He's probably had to learn to hide his emotions. It must be tough for him to try and build a relationship with OP, someone a child might view as a replacement child that their mother abandoned them for. I'd say he's being the bigger person by working through these issues and inviting OP to his wedding. I'm surprised that no one else has done the maths here. Mom was only 18 when she had him. I'd really love to know how old his dad is, and I'm wondering why his mom left in the way that she did. I'm not saying this excuses how she's treated her son, but it feels like there's more to this story. You are the idiot. You, your mom, and your dad. If I were Jay, I would not be in touch. I, a 21-year-old male, have been deployed for the past 10 months and will be home in 1 week. My wife and I planned for her to be the only one to know what date I was coming back, so that when I got leave, we could go back and surprise all of our family and friends. My wife, 21, visited home a couple of weeks ago for a family event, and while she was there, she spent a day with my mom and 2 younger sisters, her age. My mother's very pushy and hates surprises, so much so that me surprising her by coming home would make her mad at me. My wife and I knew we would eventually have to tell her because of this, but we're waiting until the last minute because she would have told my sisters if she knew my date. Well, while my wife was there, my mom pushed and pushed, telling her that she wouldn't speak to her, let the girls go places, and she had to know so she could take days off work. My wife gave her a range of my leave, a couple of weeks after I get back, so that she could request off. Well, my mom texted me today, telling me that she would be here to welcome me home when our plane lands. I asked if she cleared this with my wife, seeing as she apparently plans to stay with us in our 1-bedroom apartment, and she said no. I asked if the girls knew and were coming, and she said no. My mom has done a few things that put pressure on my wife and me, so I lost it on her. I told her I wouldn't be giving her the date that I fly in, and that if I wanted her there, I would also want my sisters there. I stopped there until she started complaining that she was a single mom who raised me on her own and that I should want to see her first. That's when I told her I didn't want her in my house when I first got home. I'm a married, grown man now. I don't need my mom. I want to see and spend time with my wife first and foremost. She pressed further, saying, I've been here for you since before you were born. She's been here for 4 years. Eventually, she trash-talked my wife, saying she doesn't even have a real job and doesn't contribute. My wife's a nanny while she's in school, and she gets paid well, so she absolutely does contribute more than enough. This is where I may be the idiot. I told my mom that I was tired of her badgering and that I wanted to come home to my wife and be alone in our home with our pets. My wife and I would not want to host her and wanted the house to ourselves so that we could have intimacy wherever and whenever we pleased because we hadn't seen each other in so long. My mom cried. She's sending me long paragraph texts every few hours about how she doesn't know where her caring son went, about how I need to let my wife go because I use her for her body, about how all I care about is my own pleasure and I have no care for my family at all. So am I the idiot? Geez, wow, that's just wow. Been there. Mom was the last thing I thought about when I got back from deployment. I mean, God forbid you get stationed overseas. What will she do then? Move in? You need to nip that in the bud now. Your mom is crazy. I really liked your comeback with TMI because I mean, she was pushing for it, LOL. What was she expecting you two as a young married couple are doing in the first few days? I'm sorry she's guilt-tripping you now, but what she's saying is just so over the top. I hope you didn't take it too seriously. Talk to your wife just so that she knows what's going on and maybe can have a good laugh like I did. Dude, your mom can find a hotel. Your relationship with your mom is very unhealthy. You're doing the right thing by creating boundaries and standing firm. My mother-in-law literally burst into tears at the dinner table when we announced hubby and I were moving states. Sister-in-law said she moaned, "My baby's moving to a different country." Nope, same country, just the other side of it, to get away from her weird enmeshment.